Right, we be about sports arena. Brasso say tenase. Na fe yede agudie mu nsem ede ba na agudie mu nsem yede ba de ahya no so se ye borum se ne kwan obefa so obenye ska kwan anam so abede obi diska na bibia atumi akoye. Yes, over the weekend matches no easy. O de faha ye ne ngaw Chelsea and Andrew ku bia Chelsea finished everybody. Chelsea finish u bia aye Andra anyasem keto akra. Ye be room Enzo Maresca and a pressure banner super papa. You be room so Real Madrid to me could win here still on a Barcelona no 4 points and that's them Barcelona so scrappy win against a Leganes for money papa on bobo Juventus say win here, Inter Milan win here, and Napoli bebo. Yes, Roma and Lazio 1-1. Beautiful football. And yasem keto akra. Bilbao to me eshe Valladolid 3-1 bra Valladolid LED and as a Valicano mum LED in the first half. Villarreal so koche Real Betis ebone kamenu momutim bako. Betis ne di kan share first goal e honum. Games ahodo koso enyasem keto akra. Ene Leverkusen nkofo no masa bruta. Uko go so momo. Uko wi no momo. Chese enyama basa omutifie. Nkofo ne po 0-0 enyasem keto akra. Madrid enso ene yes Madrid kanka. Madrid eno Bayern Munich etna fie ne Dortmund la Classica no eba so enye is 2-2. Enye fedi akrokra. Beautiful football. Na Bayern aba under immense criticism say they create numerous opportunities to me share goals are kese or much or creating they are not able to convert their chances into a room. How would that affect them going into their game against Inter Milan? Shannon says show no etwagu the street is watching with Facebook Saso and Ekopiem ABN Radio 1 so yes stream show ni live e dey free one Okopiem radio no so my bet online radio na oboremu YouTube so MYBET.AFRICA TV MYBET.AFRICA TV but modia na follow here TikTok. Yes, TikTok sports.arena.news Saso na Telegram account no wait ma join in Sports Arena SPORTS na what in temu ARENA Arena na afi oswa join na bibia atumi akoye my bet na utwa ubedi ti bomode a na ni my bet ntra na bibia antumi ekoye abejafo wa ha ma emomo akwaba na afi yenhwe my bet education na afi yemira games no and leagues na de clear teams eje and top 4 ni so moetem papa nyasem ketwa abejafo mama akwaba.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, money my yenhwe my bet education kakra and we person register any idea because any games wo pa yeah games no kakra be kokrowa no the kakra to echira
bet my face
yes.
I think my bet for amayati as say edu Monday say ya bibia e wo mo platform no so I bet me akwakofa nti we week fufu mo bi upeska dia MYBET.AFRICA and as o kona ko fiska enu nti om see we week Champions League wo any games wo Champions League Europa Conference League ye di rent free Monday akopem Sunday die games die bebre kwa nti week we one year lucky crown within 5 days in the week you bet me fiska MYBET.AFRICA because omoma aka bonus omoma bet builder no my am bibia I simple amount send you to bet me fiska nti ene wutie mi now register ya call browser na call www.mybet.africa page ni bia top right corner ubehu icon bia circle ni green odo nsa boss wa registration wo me aso na register registration ni dey simple cra the first thing e be beside your phone number in send you di bet apese scan bet o momo no so momo number now dey share ho the next thing your username unique name edin bia apese o use bia but make sure say at least the number ba ko na me no be count nti bia kwame 24 and bia ama 10 na aye unique ama obetimi use nickname and abibia so dey the next one a password enye 8 letters first one enye capital na no so for number ba ko mienu kan wi a registration no on be send verification code now they are verified now with them sa side one na hu be hu withdraw be hu deposit on platform dey easy into we mu abibia easy so betimi navigate here into ene MYBET.AFRICA omo say omo ma bet builder ene games e koso no for one game we betimi nya 10 selections e free mu into say nya otena ho a o hwe match abetimi aka say match we there player we betimi ahye goals mienu miensa beba team we be win yellow card say na beba corner say na beba no ena my bet for the man bet builder na fa build the bet ene te ene selections are be na build the bet send your options nso be koso or snake koso na my bet for say omumfa wonsi ho omo the aka bonus of 1500% esa tie which into 1500% no almost and the bonus account potential winning na be kwa into I think baby I bet be ajai na bra my bet because omo ma kwan bia so a obetim dia fiscal e wo mo platform into na na register na won so fiscal e wo MYBET.AFRICA.
Right, that is my bet. E ho na wodi a e betua ka ma bibia tumi akoma ka cho say my bet e wo offices e wo Ghana ha. E Ghana ni de my bet status my bet e ba ye ne. Nti bibi boni bi wo ho a ko ate de dada. My bet by more than 10 years ni. My bet by more than 10 years. Nti omo na oso wo ye den udi a 3 billion na ha sei e na chairman abeje. Udi a umetua oka. Online de ebuka ma obie ni wa betumi akwakwati no tie ni ye pa nti twa ba bia wo ahotoso se enye yen den a obehu ona no na ananaka na waje usika. Right, games ni bi e ba so ne ade a since Italian Serie A no still Inter Milan ya na adwen se obejam ayeshi shi nyasem keto akra Barcelona so eguso a epushi saso na Real Madrid so taneto Arsenal me no ka say die ajegon omotena fi omne Brentford ball 1-1 na Liverpool so win yet kamia kwa say aka 2 wins na Liverpool the champions of England. Crystal Palace na man for do na adwen so mko akoye o made no mu she 2-0 na so Man City for turning things around but born in Isukra and Man City abo room top 4 num enyasem keto akra Newcastle so chi Man United nana esre yesi Chelsea arehoba Man United de esre na esre pa ho no mumienra games na fe.
Okay, list to starting free. That's the German Bundesliga. Bayern Leverkusen, senior boss, and I think Leverkusen this season na high investors here. Papa. Say obi okay last 2 weeks match omo boy no be him so Leverkusen beat me at least 2 goals. Into omo call MYBET.AFRICA Leverkusen win 1.5, Leverkusen win or draw 1.5, and omo share 1-0. Into this week there investors to omo send there yemfa 1.5 nimpo nka ho. Ye be ni straight win mu there 1-0 na be pon am fa pon ne nko Leverkusen ko ball 0-0. I think it was a very disappointing result for Xabi Alonso. Adentini said this season no share the Bundesliga Bayern Munich atwom mu just 6 points inti enei senka omuni Union Berlin game on boy omutimi pick that 3 maximum winner in Kenka league na close by at least 3 points. And now by 3 points any game Bayern Munich ebe lose no Leverkusen timinya chance etimi we at title fight no ye na enim se Bayern Munich e wo Champions League mu week here we me ebi otimi she Inter Milan oko nenim no concentration na be ko Champions League ne so because enim say Bayern team bia every time bia Champions League na ade ehia mu mposen the Bundesliga intini wa uni competition bia mu untimi nko in a game enkobo 0-0 draw sa uhwe ball omo boy 75 ball possession chances from create here back now saying Leverkusen style of play from last season and him say they were more attacking minded omo je ball now omo use omo wing backs ni ye making sure so omo overload the box now send you bit me a shell no be sure but this season ye who say ejuma sa there's been a lot of changes in formation mu and they will be no more 4-3-3 and then no more revert to 3 back no and in Yama Bibi I think Xabi Alonso obeshe game we any that game will lose here in the friend is saying the league before their Champions League game against Bayern Munich. Now regret to say Senka 2 games we ultimately pick win and Kenny they are ahead of Bayern Munich. The second Bundesliga in a row, I think, in Leverkusen France, but I think from now to the end of the season, they need to take their chances. You say at the end of the game, no more. There was a post by their ex handle, so they've qualified for Champions League, and our supporters no comment section be beautiful because they are not concerned about that Champions League. Omunya and Kombeji Bundesliga no a biom for the second time intimi ambim. With Bayern Munich any Dortmund game, you didn't come on say it's likely say maybe Vincent Company Bernard so maybe a lot of players going into the game, but me can answer I'm not sure because opese otimi we need a Bundesliga no. Or a new manager, inka maybe say previous manager been on waji Bundesliga na to so any consent but you see ano ade ebema Vincent Company timia standing the ground to say in the first season was Germany with me the Bundesliga and maybe with me akwakokoji the Champions League. It will be one of the greatest achievement to beat me nya inti ene or parody the lineup abia you beat me who the same thing against Bayern Munich against Inter Milan during the week and they went into the game. But I think Bayern this season problem they create a lot of chances. You can't see them create chances in game. Only Leverkusen game they created a lot of chances. But me and convert mubia. Which expected goals find their expected goals was 1.97 which is surely like 2 goals for them. And you Timishe 2 goals, but creating 6 big chances. Now Timishe Mutu MSC Fola a problem Kessie Emma team, especially going into a game against Inter Milan. You didn't get enough chances. SL converted every chance via Binya. Inter we say game ended 2-2. I think it was a good result for Dortmund, especially playing a game against Bayern Munich. And Dortmund said that Champions League spot is 6 points ahead of them. They can close it. Inter no Mumpo said this will be a game Bayern Beba with maybe a team B. Send you beat me and walk you over them and get into that Champions League spot because this is in Dortmund into me European competition it will become a very big problem even though say a chance still in the Champions League. You need him say the second league in Germany against Barcelona they wouldn't be able to turn it around, but they are looking for something would happen for them to turn it around. But now their concentration is more about getting into that Champions League spot and making sure say Inyama etimia eden akoye ewo until now no they are just 6 points between that is RB Leipzig and Dortmund, and if they can close that gap they'll be able to reach that Champions League spot that they've been looking out to get every time. You the Italian Serie A Juventus game a course so any Lecce you know I can say Juventus coach Araba you name him say he's one your friend the fixer. He comes in and fix the team and make sure say Nyama be koye and free time obefa Juventus team Nyama koye. They are winning games, they are making sure say they are being solid and trying to pick that crucial points in him. Juventus this season almost say that spot is almost maintaining for that Champions League place. Don't beat me maintaining because being himself some seasons back they qualified for the Europa League and a Conference League and they came into the Champions League at PSV team. They need to replicate the same thing. They are the old ladies of the Italian football and they are looking at getting themselves also in the Champions League every time. That win was a big win for them to make them secure. And they almost Atlanta to Atlanta going home back community overtake that third spot, and it was a good result for team friendly Juventus. Inter Milan, even with the Champions League game coming up, still almost FM. I feel say Yebedi who come say Inter Milan with the Scudetto. I think they win the Scudetto like simple because they have the squad
depth.
Yes. And there's something at airborne in the Champions League. Dimarco Intimambo in the league with me start here, and you could see say with squad depth, they could change every position on the pitch and still play the same. And then at the back, it gives them another head of team friend in Napoli because Napoli, bench in Cranshe, even players coming from the bench to change the game. But Inter Milan, game or boy, and we are friends. Anatovic Bemu, we are friends. Other way to Ram, game. But Anatovic with a goal and
he actually started and scored.
Yes, we buy. Yes, into Anatovic performance, nature say even say Turam put in you could see say Anatovic can step in and do something similar. The same as say Lautaro Martinez, we could see say Terami would start and also perform well.
Korea.
Yes,
almost strikers in Kwan.
Yes, almost strikers in Kwan. 5 was a 6 crowd. So meaning they are one team. They can go into games and perform so well, even though says almost starting 11 and almost best players are not starting, and more another head of team friend in Napoli, and surely they would win this Scudetto, and they are looking out for this Champions League we baby omonam no they are looking say ombetimi area final because omutimi overturn it omutimi defeat Bayern Munich. The next team is Barcelona. That would be a tough task for them if they can take over Barcelona, meaning between Arsenal, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, Aston Villa would be one team and they'll meet in the final. Intino, they are taking the Scudetto also serious and making sure say the performance out there airborne. Barcelona grinding some 1-0 result against Leganes. I think this is so people we need league title. These are things you need to do. There are games you need to play ugly just to get that 3 points and a goal. Now they are heading Eddie Winnie. You didn't say own goal nearby, but I think it was a good result for Barcelona andEboa Emma Nyamatimi Ekoye. Now with the league table, no Omedikai, Omachimupa into 4 points, but Emuson. The only thing they need to do is to concentrate on the league and also the Champions League. Into what the way Omobomo matches a Champions League or you didn't who share Dortmund 4. Now if you win say if you know about trial league so na or santi ene enyem wase Barcelona betimi age league no Champions League no so ya de ba ko edo minimum person omoje similar to your friend is saying Copa del Rey final omne Real Madrid so bebo with Real Madrid so etimi bo homodin etimi share say eso munsu timi pick that 1-0 win making sure say they are closing up on Barcelona anytime by Barcelona ebe miss out on that 3 points on be recover into etimi age league so any who Kylian Mbappe etimi nya red card on the game. I think Kylian Mbappe in the La Liga no he's been especially defenders ni bully ne pa into do baby emotions ni nyama na etimi ye den etisi mo etimi nya that red card ene ebe man miss some of the games. Barcelona fans ni age because almost feel say with this red card say to a top scorer race na Ekoso no Lewandowski mu ebetimi edikan eja Kylian Mbappe ni enyama etimi akoyi. Man United list over. I think this weekend we Man United any Tottenham Chelsea na etima make us a weekend we omo fans any anje because Man United against Newcastle no be him say at least your friend is saying Man United didn't mean you draw against Newcastle. They beat me abom, especially trying to avoid or come up the table. Ya deba ko beat me abom. And they meant me winning. And a Man United position on that 14th. Tottenham and Nanke so no team picking a good victory against Wolves or no so any prayers here or no. Or tena home Wolves share no. Until Man United it may keep it that same spot. Me can has it during the weekend. So Tottenham to me winning and Man United be drop it to 15th. Tottenham meant me anye. Man United team ni set up this year. I think with ball play no as this year nyama fan kaka but confidence in the players in a problem. Until who say ye benchy Onana. The reason was say Amorim so person man disconnected a bit from football because of Messi during the past weekend. But I think a coaching decision. Maybe on you Onana tenasi akasa. But to me, say Thursday or Beboa, I don't see any reason in benching him for just one game and bringing him back on Thursday. I name him say, oh yeah, mistake against Team Efreno. Lyon had the course your minty and they so also and the neighbor about that same game. Me who they disconnecting from football or person. But it was a good game for Team Efreno Newcastle. Issa came to me and she go but the performance ne assist to Team Mae a boy. Harvey Barnes one player. I think it do baby unya that opportunity because of injuries. But every time you best step into this Newcastle team, or prove a point to team share 2 goals on the night, it me boy winning 4-1. And then Newcastle, it me rather top 4 spot no. Into a say with Nottingham Forest performance with Chelsea performance with Man City I on and off no. Or bit me rather 3rd spot position and or one upstanding game. Or winner or that 3rd. Our league log so to the expense of Nottingham Forest any Chelsea bad performance will make me put it up in the league and in Yamankoyi Tottenham Hotspur against Wolves. I think Angie Mbranti no do baby amentiase because me feel say na injuries na help. See they've recovered. They've got a lot of players back. We Romero Munaba we had mistakes some here on the night to let Wolves score. Yembo Victor Pereira Abaso. He has been one of the coaches coming into this season. January onya chance his performance has been so solid. In Wolves last previous games on Mabwa, they have 4 wins out of last 5 games. 4 wins out of last 5 games and they performance what done Edima Wolves. Now things on cause 30 season now. In case be position at Wolves than in community mean that ho. In case be on bet me top 10 more baby and have 11 12 more baby because a team like Wolves with 5 games, no winning 4 at draw back home. Meaning the last 5 games on lose is a good result. Ne say game ne cost no more share Tottenham. Na fans ne tunyum e bona basu say. I think next season he can do something good for this Wolves team. Adeba ko na Wolves MSC out ne say during the start of the season you were disjoint team. You do baby na players in your staff say na players na nkasa ko park so no munya red card. Now utimu say it was a full disjoint team. Bene with my back team na bom kunya mo bobo mo yiro mo e bom mo modern nei Wolves etimi apeke 4 wins out of 5 performance na enso e wo so Tottenham entimi she Wolves on home da me kan ha Friday ni nti na be den se Tottenham betimi apeke sa winner Angie ne mbrante no enso etimi aboto sa de maybe ne na ho odin ni na akwakọ to Europa ne so a opese otimi yire ne ho gisa Europa ne se no betimi wira the Champions League. That is the only option obetimi nya etimi wira Europe. Apart from that, next season Tottenham ye hu no European competition bia biom so entimi anje sa Europa na with Chelsea any Ipswich game e course so I think Enzo Maresca edu baby e betina ha bona ba so edu baby nso e betina ha e se etimi bonichi because me hu Chelsea lineup going into a game against Ipswich. Na Enzo Maresca a call for that is 3 center backs and na Cucurella send a back line was something I was very, very surprised knowing even a champion performance will show in the Conference League during the weekend with James air fit, Malo Gusto Enzo air fit, and I'll call with a 3 center backs and a 1 full backer. I don't know why Enzo Maresca keeps on doing side way. It's me the Chelsea team never fame. Share the Conference League Nini Wasuna. I think Enzo Maresca meaning say overthinking and now say being a new manager no the decision making hano because we had Chelsea in Brentford Obenchi Kopama and Nicolas Jackson na obi enim say Obenchi so na odi ombekwa akobo that Conference League game you say Conference League game Jackson and started and a weekend we you so odi omu na started Adebako say Enzo Maresca who said the main goal for Chelsea getting into the Champions League. Se Chelsea elusu Conference League na ene minjin this Chelsea fan bia bubefu. Se Chelsea are qualify for the Champions League biome in 3 seasons that would be a big problem for every Chelsea fan. Into you going into games preparing say me going to game preparing na me bench players for Conference League. Any elite manager ye hu Mauricio Sarri mo playing in the Europa no they or the team B any players they are not getting enough game time in the league na about those tournaments. So born beating edgy the Europa competition. I
wish sure say bench players will because of conference but and yet almost fitness, especially the players involved. You know this season a key player our midfield. Caicedo. Yeah. Caicedo is here to play
the
conference league. So clearly on resting say with Premier League no money there ball. Palmer and Jackson, you know, who said they are coming back from injury. Palmer Bantam Ejawe, so also finding a rhythm into against Legia Omano minutes just to somebody like Rhys James. Obviously, will be him say Rhys James and Bogema because of the fitness. They want to manage him, try to make sure that the injury will not come because we are moving to the last stage of the season. Ulusi key player biya the rest of the season. Ulusi key player biya, and that is what Enzo can here. And I think say Chelsea fans we are I say you really fear the anthem. Okay, say Fofana. Okay, say Fofana is out. He's not coming back anytime soon. Fofana Beka said no.
Bet him about in 4 weeks.
Or bet him about in 4 weeks time. They're not buy about 1 match and a pum after the rest of the season. So I'm not sure say a coach will want to bench the key players because of a second tier game. What's your players involved in fitness in tier?
Yes, but at least to say Chelsea go into a game against Brentford. Not a fitness. You name him say in games. You try to play your best players to win you games and make sure, especially Chelsea 2 games against Brentford, any Ipswich. Down to the end of the season, matches are card. Those are the 2 easiest games at Chelsea or Arsenal or Liverpool or Man U or Fulham. or Nottingham Forest. It meaning the next 6 games, 5 games are canon. And yet easy games to go in like that. These are the 2 easiest games and Kaubeti may pick 3 points from.
That I agree.
And they out of 6 with him picking just 2 points. And I knew during this game in the first half who said what he did was wrong. And who said the first change for a friend saying Tosin Gusto Ebaye. Because I think going against team a friend Ipswich, they will sit back and play the low block. Into Unhia, this is a gamer, and with lineup wise, I think Unyanyama will be wrong. Especially this is a gamer you need Sancho starting, not Pedro Neto. Because against a low block, Upobia, he will try to push them and try to do that 1 or 2 tricks to see say they will get a penalty or not. And also, you can't compare my performance. But one thing as a Chelsea fan be brain steady in is during the start of the season, Nana Kopama, was top form, creating a lot of chances, scoring a lot of goals, and setting up Madueke Mono. The thing was Kopama was playing mostly from your friend is saying the right half space. And Kopama Timmy thriving so well in those right half space. Into Betimi Hua. Anytime be a Kopama benya ball he shifts the ball onto his left and Opeso shooting. Opeso Timmy sets it up Obiano cross a ball. In Chelsea recent games, like almost 6-5 games now, Kopama has been playing from the left half space, with Enzo Fernandez occupying that right half space. And they who say Kopama nya ball no on his right, likely say Untimi shooty, so Untimi ma pass and also across it, which is not his strength. Kopama he could set up players. Who playing in that right half space, the way I know Untimi set up players with Madueke, more Mutimi enjoy under that type of formation. Into a he has been moved, which I don't know the reason for that. But I think that tactically it's limiting Chelsea a lot. And Untini who Madueke getting those half chances with me convert and those chances with me set up players. And also during the game, Senka doing a change, Madueke was your best winger on the night. Intimini he took off Madueke and brought in Sancho. So I don't know, say inexperience they do maybe a place into it. After the game, the facial expression I could see say Obia or county team say maybe I've messed up, because you could see Enzo Maresca not being himself after the game, which is something that Chelsea ain't need that chance to explore.
All right. Yeah. You say with that last point now come about the facial expression. Have you seen the recent video?
Yeah.
Also, I said the environment, wasn't good.
Yes, because the Chelsea fans.
Yeah. And I Chelsea supporters, and I've seen some brave bashing. Now there is a video evidence. Actually, say just 15 minutes into a game, Chelsea supporters, boo players. That is why, because when I was watching the game, I realized they were shaking. I said no more shaky. So they were booing them. Will be a record. And on the man, we ball long. Because Chelsea team no ball longer. A waste because Nicola Jackson on ball bonity, ball in a bonity, ball in a bonity, and you don't know dignity ball him. So ball longer. A year cost 90. And on I say, is it not that the environment, I is so hostile to the extent say, ama what they need to do as a team, they are not able to do it. How at this stage fans role Ben on be play, because see so how much is they are working now on a good day for Chelsea can beat all these teams, because these teams will open up. We've seen Chelsea against Liverpool, we've seen Chelsea against even Arsenal, we've seen Chelsea against these big teams. They almost ball low block, they open up, and Chelsea always finish as a better team, create enough chances. Just that strikers na there. Strike or ball na to net team na a problem. What role must the supporters play in the last round of games? Because if we lose out, one thing about it, Osakina and they say we coach team, Poch a coach team. Osakin is see Obenya now we no guswa SAB rebuilding beam.
Yes, I think with Chelsea fans, they've played crucial role in Enzo Maresca Bibia Oye. So say and it's a video quite around. Now maybe because of that, maybe say as a coach or Felice supporters in tiny chair, I think then he's getting things wrong. Because about Chelsea team, there were decisions that he made in Augusta and now no. then the supporters were still backing him with Sterling, with Ben Chilwell, with a lot of players. The supporters felt say he is the one to do the job and do the job well. Until the supporters backed him. Time at Chelsea near a good run, no? The supporters were singing his name and doing things to make him feel appreciated. And they are finding problems with their friend is saying petty mistakes as a coach in lineups, petty mistakes as a coach in formations, petty mistakes as a coach in the way or setting up the team. And fans are complaining because they name him say a do time and Nicolas Jackson, Nico Palmer, we were all crying out, oh, Nicolas Jackson ban Yama Befa, Nicolas Jackson ban Yama Beye, things we see things getting out well. And we are still going into games against Ipswich. McKennie Adeba Akwa, he has over Enzo Maresca say during championship now Enzo Maresca or Leicester now not Ocean. So meaning say he has understood Enzo Maresca to the extent say baby on any baby obesheno. Even to Omano the elite teams obesheno. So that is where the fans feel said there be you have a good
15 minutes into a game.
List over
players in the park so who say who boo because coach Enya line up wrong 15 minutes into a game.
And say they were booing him no.
They are booing the players.
Yes, it's not maybe directly to the players.
Nice one.
It's to the full squad.
Have you seen the video?
Coach
I have personally bobo no mu. So Enuntino, the coach natural say let's build from the back no. Player need Japan to believe say what the supporters is doing Enuntino also bobo ni same.
Enti ehono as a professional player you are trying to be unprofessional because you mean can't
how say yet say nanko 40 no mo huru yen ya no yes we show no you are no is we don't any kwase we take the emotional aspect of the of football. There is a reason why Liverpool supporters Liverpool for players and for Mundial ground when the going gets tough. I've seen Dortmund come to Anfield. Ababe show me say 3. Now Liverpool supporters na ye de da mo ababe show mo 4-3. Players mo board Dortmund aka say chale. The supporters adia no mo years after second team na go down. And this is not the first time. I've seen Kota Thomas Tuchel call on Chelsea supporters. Jose Mourinho aka. All the coaches on my
I said I said no feel comfortable playing away.
So this is something as a Obianka say Obianka criticize coach no. But at the point that players in park so bobo, what they need is support. Then you boo or say lose so that you get to the coach supporter.
And no dear, nyame enim nukreni senya okano. There are some things that we shouldn't encourage or support. But there are some things that you name say every Chelsea fan or two wouldn't boo the team based on say maybe you were two tickets over 50-100 pounds about bet now. Say maybe boo called bet na fee. But sometimes maybe in Yamabaku BAC they are not happy about it and no no. Secondly, we go into a game against Ipswich where Ipswich team feel say the same thing now can Ipswich fans were singing say we want to play you every week because they could see say Chelsea team near so low to the extent say every week Senka Ipswich be Chelsea every week obetimi had a good position on the league log. This should be a big question mark to the coach. At the Inter makers Enzo Maresca one coach I like the way he is, but I think say I don't know say overthinking and sometimes he panics making decisions because senior boss even with Kopama occupying right half space left half space at the way we don't see it during games but it's affecting the player. And then we are seeing say we could see that partnership at Kopama team building with Madueke on that right side. And now against Wolves, Madueke team benefited Kopama nya assist 3 assists, Madueke and team nya hat trick and then Nyama Bibri in that game. So this are Nyama Kite. If you want to make a lot of changes to teams this to the end of the season after 6 games and you need that Champions League spot, boss abono. And then him say and Chelsea in recent games and Chelsea me fan say omo performance na dey omo that particular position is the teams there and omo yiro omo enunti Chelsea are lip flogging a lot of people getting into there and they your next 6 games are very tough crucial games. Your last game against Nottingham Forest you're lucky that last game will be a decider for that 5th position in the Chelsea ball any the performance are so any the last games are key say Enzo Maresca and Tenase engine now so on one or two things, I don't think they can make the Champions League because any Anyama Kikan it will get to some time. The fans need to go for the Champions League. It will come down and fall on the owners. One, for betting cards of and but we've seen other experienced managers use young players to perform so well for their clubs. So Bibi Sam say Empamu and Zoma can Empamu na make say Debi my Empamu, but he needs to take this first season and learn so well from it. And next season, when he add one or two players to his team, the performance should be up because so we expected when fans say results on the league log, Indra may check his side, and Chelsea should have been on third position after Arsenal with just some few points. As Arsenal the point to any they are fighting for that fifth spot about a big problem on Chelsea.
Okay, so the current stats, big chance created.
Yes.
Liverpool first, 91 big chances created. Chelsea 2, 82 big chance created. Man City 81 and Arsenal 78. Chelsea are missing a whooping 73 big chances in the league this season. It should speak a lot. Chama Yanshay.
Yeah, used to my main charity for it's a long weekend. They're saying back over the weekend. A lot of games at the told you, and I might say some of the games was expecting because especially Liverpool, West Ham, knowing for a fact that Liverpool always threw the EFL to Newcastle, the Champions League free move, and the only trophy we made me winning this season, the English Premier League already leading by 13 points with some few games to go. My man started with Man United game against Newcastle. You see, league, behind him said things are not going well for Man United, and after the Lyon game, who said coach Ruben Amorim said Babe drop Andre Onana, and see baby United are very crucial list. Currently United were 38 points, and there's just 3 teams bet. And then United, Asia, if Ipswich, Leicester City are able to carry a lot of games, and relegation beats my one United. Go United were 38 points, or the 14th position. Team order 15 year Tottenham Hotspur, or no was 37, and then a West Ham were 35, or no that 17. So all free relegation, all kind 1, 2, 3 teams are. All kind we are United never hope. Let's look at the United lineup or they started that particular game against Newcastle. In fact, Newcastle for them. Obeka said they have good players and the players dwells on energy. Any no the ball. Until Obeka check here, Murphy, Ishak, Harvey Barnes, more players are apart from Ishak, Murphy and Barnes players are typical wingers. No more use so much speed. And no man one day and a depot game no. But check your midfield. This is Jolint no more on 50 million every half year. And then about Premier League no more. I mean he was a striker. Because a failed striker. And no matter no midfielder. I need near Melko Sandro Tonali and Bruno Gomares. And then they more defense no Dan Ben and Branta and Dean added Fabian Shah. Then Trippier and a Livramento, a right back Omobono as the left back position. So whenever they are playing, it depends on the team nominal Omobono. They can play low block, they can play mid block, Ombetimia press edge ball, and they have a fine striker. They have good players and any day Ombetimi at their show. And you look at United team list of all. Omobo Lenny Euro, Omobo Victor Lindelof, and Omobo Abrantandi Eddie Mazuari as the 3 center backs. Our more elite team no. They are good a lot. And more ball or more young player needing Eddie Amas Harry. And you see, list all. And after Amas Harry in midfield, more ball Ericsson, Manuel Ugarte, Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes, and Brentandi Eddie Joshua Zexi. In fact, United team list all. Look at this United team, then you compare to a year Newcastle. There are only a few players be a list of Mate Miaka say these players can go to a Newcastle and start according to the lineup on board. Lenny Euro, the record, the performance no than Eddie France no. He ain't me fan cancer in the Premier League. So I don't see Lenny Yoro starting in this Newcastle setup. Lindelof, Mazrai might be able to start maybe ahead of Livramento as the leg back position, and maybe even Obetimini Achabo position. Lindelof, I don't see him starting. Manuel Ugarte, Christian Eriksen. In the midfield, I need Newcastle, the 3-man midfield. Joe Linton, Tonali, and Abranta and Bruno Gomares. Ugarte, Eriksen, currently, I don't see any of them starting ahead of the 3-man midfield at Newcastle. And maybe Bruno Fernandes, Joshua Zexi, and Garnacho this season. I don't see any of them starting. The only player or starting game, no, or you capable of any day of starting this Newcastle setup currently, Bruno Fernandes. And then I'm going to goalkeeper Altel Bayindel and Adelmo. And me to make I say, in fact, Onana errors. He is the best goalkeeper for United. And then the Yamakase, I say Omuja David Ye Kwankofa Andrew Nana by because how wanna coach Ten Hag himself on the ball or believe say the Gia wasn't the right person to commit me at another point. And no, I'm going to take by in that about game. And at least to meet Ten Hag say in football, in as much as we hear a good players to be able to have a very good collective unit. The players themselves, they have to also because you see there's no potential. Like I said, the only few players be more they kakra Mazrai, then maybe Bruno Fernandes, then the Patrick Dogiom Kofane by say will show the reason why or some attributes be a coach in here to Kofane by. But in fact, if United want to stay in the top 4, if United wants to build, in fact, coach will be number released or Wajmaye. And you look at United financial fair play rules in Yaman. Is it going to allow them to sign a lot of key players in their setup? Then they had a mehi Saka yepa. So United goes more consider here now. United goes consider here against Newcastle list of Nina defensive errors. Any awareness United defense or money. And in fact, how the coach wants to play, list or more be on style or about 3 back. How a person attacking clear. But the players are not getting used to it, and it's affecting the team. And they watch it Newcastle for list or more first goal now or more share now. That is Barnes go or Koshema Newcastle and as a card number 1, the first one meet so. Before Barnes kita ball, situation akwa more like a 2v2 format, and I said a 2v3 because Barnes Kitabon, there's a United player right behind him, and in front of him another player, and there's a player Bakoa, that is Harry, that was Lenny Yoro, are all getting closer to Victor Lindelof, or right in front of Harvey Barnes, and Osha Lindelof chair, that was Alexander Isak. All running say at least got Barnes a bit more man. Into Victor Lindelof, the way we say the balance no different. Or no, he's trying to block the ball from Barnes not going straight into the pool, and also trying to block the ball from not reaching Abranta and Alexander Isak. Few seconds, second photo no. So I saw the second photo no better so. Few seconds, Harvey Barnes this all one passable now for Alexander Isak, or the ball no go straight into the washer. Still Manuel Ugarte, Lenny Yoro, and Abranta and the Victor Lindelof. Lindelof are blocked Abranta and the Isak. So I had their Heavy Barnes team bubble, but right now space and him, and it took Lenny Yoro so much to cover. Into the washer another the second photo now. I quite 3v1 and the Isak on board right now where the boy is heading to couple demonstrate and who goalkeeper Arte Bayindal in the photo frame out in the 6-yard line trying to also come. The third photo shows situation where United defense Lenny Yoro, Lindelof and Abranta and Christian Eriksen Omu ina abakoko campia Abranta and Heavy Barnes above ball. Into check the second photo, baby, and goalkeeper Nijano is the same place and a ball. It could do the penalty spot area. I have a bounce, a ball in the free hole. So it means in a few seconds, baby, a bounce the ball in the free for almost 30 yards to inside the 18 yards. But play a bien where ultimately tracking have bounce down. It means that where were the two players are Omuja the three center backs, and in fact the three center back shape, essay at that moment, because if Mazrai was there to cover for Abranta and Eddie Alexander Isaka, and first the first thing I was saying calendar of years and go straight onto the ball and can on door doning for an question man for ball in the box, and yes, of course, Lenny Yoro was caught ball watching into the moment ball could have a bounce in Semino. No, he has to close down and have a bounce. People know because of the attribute, the pace or what, they couldn't catch him. We'll go to the fourth picture, which is at the fourth picture, which is another goal list of United for a concede here. That is goalkeeper Nikita Ball. United for ever started play because he himself Ruben Amorim. In as much as about three, but also starting from the back. He is that coach or a possessive, defensive oriented coach is Nibi. And they Bindal and Nikita Ball list wall. Into what we list Newcastle team now. Almost three players from more up front. Isaac, Murphy, and Abranta and the Eddie Barnes. Omu in press United players no. Omu defense into what we are Lenny Yoro and Lindelof Ebiemu in the 18-yard box. Right now, goalkeeper Nikita Ball is also playing because so goalkeeper started playing now and more numbers than the 10 players are or more pressing. So definitely, if you are able to possess the game well, if you are able to beat the presser, Ubenya a man in hand, I'm all there people attacking. That is the reason why I need most coaches, if they are starting the ball, almost starting player, almost starting from a chasing a beer, we make my shot on more opponent. That the phase 4 and as a phase 3, parking so. And the ball kita goalkeeper list or my pressy United team a shadow marking, but the only option for the goalkeeper is either say Obama the player now order the right side, which is Lindelof. Mazrai in that position, which is Mazrai, and I say Obama na kwako find the players are or more the center circle area, which is Joshua Zexi, Bruno Fernandes, and Abranta de Garnacho. And then list option picture now. The best option for the goalkeeper is Obeba player now order the right side. And you see, because of how normal personally they've got a Newcastle team list, they have 6 players. United have. A United so was 6 players, in fact 7 players plus the goalkeeper. And yet still the only option for buying down is say Obeba Ball Akowai. And it tells you that Onana still is the best goalkeeper for United. So he couldn't play the channel to that wide to a player no. In the if Alisson Becker, goalkeeper Ndiani Edison, Tomoye the best in this type of a year, the best option was to play to the right back. And they or ball no. A more person win to measure the second picture. Goalkeeper never hit the ball. Isaka pressing very wide. Player now make us know free no. He was still free. And the United players all midfield, the Lenny Yoro are confident. They are still marked by 3 Newcastle players. And the only option, the safest option, was to say goalkeeper Ebeko the right side. And then they attempts or Bakumu and Bon one Timon and Bruno Gomares eti enya ball ne manishe. The another third goal Sansunya, which is the third goal in Newcastle Livramento. Adribble Buma any oil crossing list all. Who shared the number of players or more United inside the 18 box alone? United were as much as 7 players. Or more boxing him. And Newcastle were just 4 players in the box, which is the player now overborn Livramento, Harvey Barnes, Abranta and the Alexander Isaac, and Mofia on free ton ever. And you see, even behind the ball, after player now or blocking of which is Dalot. United 3 center backs in the list all. They are and they are not marking none of them, and they are marking Abranta and the Alexander Isaac. And then they Harry Amasa or no as the left wing back. He also tries to commit my intercepted ball, but he don't know where Murphy is coming from. And they watch the second picture ebe to aso abana. That card is that picture, but the second picture ebe to aso abano. That is when cross no I find Murphy. I name Murphy. I asset cross na come. And yes, still Newcastle. Oh, just 4 players in the United box. So player no share go no, which is Barnes. List to all. He is in between 4 United defenders. That is the moment Murphy cross no call Murphy hona. Amas akwakoda po na chi baby. Murphy abobo na rem in the 6-yard box. Ball no enam 6-yard box in the goalkeeper United or another player, and in between United 4 defenders no Harvey Barnes. All the way the next picture Harvey Barnes and they tapping the ball into the pool of United. And to United defenders no, they were caught ball watching. My awareness very bad. And if you want to play attacking football, a possessive football, list all. These are the things that you have to do. The reason why Virgil van Dijk has been the best defender for so much time since he joined Liverpool is a list of all. Defenders no, Obia, Obeko bonus, and Van Dijk has been getting a lot of criticism saying they on also. But list all defending, there were a lot of there are brilliant types of defenders are. Omar Baba excelling in the game and how they defend. Obi Oha 1-2 he will come and clear the ball, but some of them too ebe do then the final pass na be ball no one intercepting. That is one good thing goalkeeper and the defender and the other Virgil van Dijk he's good at. Or no uncle boss but be calculate final release no we intercepting ball. Obi to say Thiago Silva or scanning the places or no dreamer who play and who be ball na ball all man options and will find an option na be ball he will make sure say obe clear. But watch there's this compilation Thiago Silva Chelsea goal line clearance be brave because of James said no if Chaloba and now Rudiger Koswa let's say you overtake Rudiger and the goalkeeper, where is the ball going? In the post. No, the catch. But United players, no, none of them when the ball was going, Harvey Barnes 5-7 players in the box and one ball Kukudi Murphy hono Obia who say Murphy is one toss, so let me block that channel. And that is one thing they didn't do. Because you've seen players like Gary Cahill, ball bar, or block you the striker no, from moving to the ball man who goalkeeper Babechi. In today, list to check United team now. Ruben Amorim list to Owojumaye. Papa because the kind of players playing for United, and in fact, Garnacho was scoring for fun for some time last season for Eric Ten Hag. But you see this season, it tells you that the project now coaching here. Niema Nkuyani see. I am the say Omar Bereda joining United, and right now they are going the Man City and the new Chelsea way. You won't say over the years United no money sporting director until you coach now, but they give you the maximum power. No kwako to play out pay. Until the way players of Moma United most of them were players coach Rat and Hag Kokoto ni buy. Onana Ten Hag na Kokoto because no near more Leicester. Even the later all United Ten Hag na Kokofa ni buy. Mazrai Ten Hag na Kokofa ni buy. A lot of players in the setup. Manuel Ugarte, Ten Hag na Kokofa ni buy. A lot of players and then Ten Hag coin. These players are not able to play according to how Ruben Amorim play. Until Ruben Amorim list all the system, whatever he wants to do, perfect. The players not do executive plan. The players are not up to the bill. Players ain't meaning the coach ni pen. And you see, you ask the question that Ruben Amorim is he going to be able to sign more than 5 players summer? The players from United list all Brina Beko and you see. Glazers for no, any Ineos for no, list all Ineos especially Omar Barreda or Ojumaye. Because in a Zegzi coach you can prefer no ahead of Hoyland. Zegzi ni so asan kupra. And I don't see United with this approach. If they are going to play how they played against Newcastle, among marquee players here, Mikatardi, Lacazette, Thiago Amanda, and then Rancheki Mubehao. So if you go now Rancheki share against Omona, it's the same thing. Goalkeeper no, the players were caught ball watching. So the attitude and the kind of players are United one. Ain't me Mundu the next level on person for Ruben Amorim from Congo. I mean, Chelsea in Ipswich game, no, and I think that the 2 goals in Chelsea are considered, no, pure defending.
Liverpool.
Pure defending. You see, me sometimes I think nano because share has to folk in vision game, no, and many vision head coach in like in a core stadium or coach nana, and the ethical no. Think one of the old time friends, a friend, say Charlie, give me the vision for 1 year publicity. I'm for a bunch of games. So say Charlie, for the past 1 week, the awesome Yama players they win. Why? Because on all bad vision or the video analyst, any BBA buy, and this, and yes, because I'm close to him to maker. The video analyst was in the car list has last 5 games. Coach Nashenina. Why analyst who has where to hit us of folk. Into who player now or she'll go against us of folk. The Meshach Soa. Or your coach the player not born in 2nd division team. And not share vision for trainer. They were shooting from that angle. So they know the house of folk. What the ball no angle that okay, share. The far ender. Benjamin Masar in Timinchi. So when we go our dreams this year house of folk. Same goal. Into data used to Ekasaye and coach now or share Chelsea. No. He's a fine coach. Ipswich coach no. Or you one of the coaches are say almost for data and analyzing here to back or the Ipswich qualified by Premier. A lot of teams were even chasing even before Chelsea by appointed. He was one of the coaches at Chelsea interview here. And see when I saw the lineup that we are playing Tosin Adarabioyo and Liverpool, I knew that but who are right backs me no bench? Who are right backs me no bench? And now about Chaloba as the right back. So who both 2 defensive midfielders are mainly they are not aggressive. And listen, if the lap has started this game, it would have been difficult for Chelsea. And because our first 2 goals now Ipswich say no, Kebe for another 3. Because there are several instances Sanchez a saving situation. Into as I come for first picture and to Sumami. That is 2 goals that Chelsea consider list to all. Where timer first picture for Chelsea game no. That is Caicedo Ekwako Takeboa or Titoy. That is from Ensinso. And right after Caicedo, that was I think Tosin Adarabioyo Chaloba Ekwako cover because Caicedo at theater. So if he doesn't close, and Siso has the right to play the ball from that angle. Internet Chaloba close it no. And Siso need any option rather to pass the ball to player now or that social picture now. That is Tosin Adarabio you Ochina why or no Wojina ho. Say be at the moment a ball because that player now who make an attempt. Listen to you hear the second picture. Ball the coin still Tosin and Timianko. Chaloba na or no ko take ball or no the sanso Dimirika ko eche sanso ko fa player na. Oba crossing ball across the far end. And no picture ni dia. Tosin Adarabioyo, it means that 4 Chelsea players omo attack 2 players and since now ball na we know because Caicedo that here to our sorry. Right now Enzo Fernandez arani ababe real box nim and then they player baku ejina ho and Tosin Adarabioyo ejina ho unannounced. And you see, I don't know why. You see sometimes I have Van Dijk. So orani na ball ban so no ahwe na chi. Thiago Silva has been doing the same thing. I've been it's only by Kowo. There no so free Thiago Silva ho. Yenim say wo Brighton Liverpool defend the ball on attributes. Liverpool the any say ball ya ba ball ni antu ho sa Gary K homodian or that attributes blocking yeah or that. And this season but who several blocks are why on the 9 ne book. But you see what did Thiago Silva ball only Rudy Gama ball ya but on be sending in the cross list or the second picture Liverpool ni maka no awia nda na chi o ni maka na awia nda na chi and Kukurela is the player or no in between stop it English players or no stop it player na we really Liverpool and he was the main targeter na Ensiso ball na man e box ni and ball ni go far. So when the ball went far, the third picture ball no e go far, Kukurela has to strike back to player no than a chino. And then ball watching Levico was Sansuji now. And Bono a coco do that moment, then it means that the player no ball not track Cucurella. Then the best thing is that because Bono read the 16-yard boxing, all he has to do is say, and yes, another defensive error the man Chelsea consider. And when the can say this season, who check it there? They are not money man about Chelsea. Say you create chances. Say you save here. Me the biana make say apart from say Sanchez, or ye error leading to goals. No, me boy go have Sanchez no save. But Sanchez problem say, boy who him say, ebe share no. That is why he or yes a mistake. And who you goalkeeper be na yes again. Open team more big class. Yeah. So that is the reason why Onana or Bre or Man United or yes saves even share against Lyon. Yeah. Check the number of saves Onana here. But your goals are share. And your goals are also share goalkeeper. And if we episode your goalkeeper, it would many bad Chelsea no. Balls or share way simple balls or manation, and that is what it takes to play for a big club. This was your second goal. No? And they almost striker no. That is the fifth picture for Chelsea game. No? Fifth picture for Chelsea game. No? Ipswich 4, that is the first goal no can share until the and the second goal now Ipswich for share. No first goal no Mbappe share any. This boy kita Ipswich player or the boy in Ami Fintene, watch a guy say the fire and Enzo Fernandez.
Person. I was so player Babe also ukonimu because now our center we honomo. Ukoni make sure so be nya contact send be onya.
Right now you look at the fifth picture very well. Boy Nikita is switch player no because of the midfielders na transitional on board in Chelsea team nechi. Intene Cucurella running and how all run he is running say player now offer the right side the ball. No and be blocking the pass from that player. And in between the center backs, two center backs, Tosin and Levico. Striker up acting in say only pass in 20. If the pass no none of the players are closer to that striker. And then with the sixth picture no. Still, Osha frame now. Sasaka the sixth picture number 2. So Osha frame now. The striker is in between Levico and Tosin and Darabeo. That is the sixth picture for Chelsea game. Or you in between those players. But yes, still, and this one for Bonamano. Or they call player now Cucurella marking on. Into what picture now. Born a course happy and Cucurella make attempts. Cucurella make attempt saying Obaka attack player no. CCA. And aside that. The next picture, when born omobo true boy, player ni Cucurella. Kwa chase born a born no akaka born area box nim. And the another picture is when Cucurella crossing player na here crossing. So list all. The second goal right from the onset, born in midfield dey bad. Midfielder no, there's almost striker no was in between Tosin and Levico. All these were from born free born call flanks are player go cross the board. He was in between them. None of them anka say Charlie track it back na mean so 1v1 or no mun fin na cross no e call na ball 6-yard balls pa or no mun fin or jomu fin when the ball was going or jomu fin player need jomu fin or expect pass ball no call wide, he is still in between the players. And Levico or Crampono are getting closer, and yes, still tossing at player behind Levico and also in front of Tosin and Darabio, and none of them, two players none of them were able to intercept the cross. And yes, to goalkeeper also in Tinyamba after one match ball. Into checking the goals, players nation list and purely defensive errors. How position, how make your runs. And that
they are not aggressive. Only too soft.
Still, I say, why did the coach even play Levico? Any Abranta and the Tosin? That is the reason why any game be this season. For Fona, a woman, Chelsea hit him defending very well. And any game be a Chaluba by share. Your last game I bought Chaluba and Levico. Unsa I say, oh, the air shikakra, oh, the air so a balanced play. No, Bakobo Tosin Levico, and even apart from saying so, they are not aggressive. These are pure errors. Defenders in the air. You don't leave a striker in behind you, knowing for a fact say MYBET cross the ball. And most need speed. So both the first goal and the second goal are purely mistakes. And trust me, I don't think say Coach Enzo Maresca will repeat this mistake again, especially Obebo sa 2 players. I say Sanka Chaloba Pradi Aliso and Kasembi anyhow. But he is there. You have your right backs, regimes. In fact, if you are not going to play regimes because of health issues, and unsaid this season, listen, regimes have bought more games than the number of games of won last season.
Yeah.
And more manage situations at least. Meet my maintain any about league now we. Then they are conference league. Then they are starting the FIFA Club World Cup now. What they are starting in pre-season, they were very season very well. So I understand. But Cucurella, Gusto, why do you even play 3? What do you say? 3 defenders in list all. But Cucurella. Sa Ubo defenders now winning now. Cucurella. What's also affected him no? So to me, goals na share Chelsea no defensive errors, and the selection Chelsea game no got it wrong. But aside the game, I think that it was a good spirit Chelsea team to take on, and at least some sense to take on they couldn't find a way. This is a league open top for Aji, and unim say with the teams on pre top 4 on our big matches ball. Ubebo tough matches as in any of the teams, and Newcastle will give me hand. He played against United. A United you failed to score. This is a team that he wants to play top 4. Because Bian said this is United and Yadi. But China, no action. Now not to the baby. But you couldn't score him, and then Newcastle will give me hand, and they would have seat position with 54 points with Aston Villa. Man City, our better 5th with 55 points. In fact, not time for us to drop a point. We just a Becca just a point between Wo and Nottingham Forest. Right now, Nottingham Forest, if they are not able to keep up this the pace, it means that Newcastle and Man City in a very replace them. So to me, I think that the players they are playing for Chelsea, still Chelsea, they should prioritize the defending aspect. Because right now, Wesley Fofana are yet too clear that won't mean stay fit, won't mean you're consistent, won't mean even more than 20 games for you a season. So even if Fofana next is a bit must stay fit about 20 games, so you have to have another defender over competing with Tosin and Levi and Badiashile is not that. And the only player list all maybe who is a bit more compete a player no Nicole alone Renato Veiga. But yesterday the coach wasn't playing him. Veiga more games or boy for Chelsea. He either played in midfield and also about that left wing back position now. Oh boy. So to me I think that the players how they played against Ipswich, they didn't do well, and there's no urgency said they want to play the top 4 after losing 2-0. I think about Betilka and a statement that said this is Chelsea, especially their home games this season. Near man time koi, their only games on boy na away games. They say home games and last games on my ball, next games on my ball in the Premier League. If they are going to do such mistakes like how they did against Ipswich, Fulham may punish them. Craven Cottage. If they are going to do the same mistakes against Everton, because already only teams on board made block, any low block bar, break. So why do you even concede? After how many Everton go bar, they will now sometimes go the same mistakes are better they punish them. Facts. Ukokobo Liverpool. Nasa on awareness way, defensive errors way. Salah Jotamo in any day or make a little game. No. You also play against Newcastle. She goes to Newcastle, they share United. Same defensive errors. Or more anticipating. They will play the balls wide, normal from fin, normal they are shell. Same 16-yard boss, same goes Man United. Same thing at Newcastle between the Chelsea. Against Man United and against Nottingham Forest. These are teams are not marable. Ubebo Nottingham, Man U, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Everton. Plus Fulham. Also in Bayard. So to me, I think that in as much as the coach, but me who identity in this store, some of the players at the Chelsea defense. Also, new players, but players with attitude.
Yeah, they need aggressive
players with that aggression.
Yeah, because
yes,
too soft.
It's
too soft.
A bad Enzo Maresca, you know, a bad. But in as much as they come, so I don't have to blame the coach so much. But this selection against team no boy. Senka the lap next start here and come back kill game no. early cry.
Ebi so anko ya no so anko me approach no be different. Me say no more aggressive so any also mumi omo. What I say? He was a player more than a striker. No, nobody knew him. What I say? The lap no be there. Anyway, and maybe perhaps senior Otieno how strong or anything be or the imposing defender by and Kobe to stopping. And Omama one start. Well, let's move on. Yen share games in Nafi. Yen find also in Denver. Or Champions League week. Or Champions League. Anyasem keto akra. The live commentary be Nafi be to me akoye. Yen share games and
okay, and games ever cause Bournemouth any Fulham will game and you say with the league table Bournemouth performance in their last few games now are very disappointing, especially team and him say do baby no more praise they can enter into Europe. Any performance name koye with Fulham any Italy Aston Villa 2 year pan or Bompires Aston Villa Champions League ni ndidi team. Say no news bet me nya kwan etimi rather Conference League or even the Europa League spot at Chelsea down. This will be one game at Bournemouth also win because in their last 5 games, team picky win. You may lose 3 against Ipswich, Man City, Brentford, and about draw 2 against Dortmund. Against Tottenham, and West Ham. It will be a very difficult game for team friend Bournemouth against Wolves. Wolves, Fulham, send performance weekend we only Fulham, only Liverpool. I do the Liverpool and making sure so my Liverpool their second defeat of the season. It will be a very big game for Wolves. As a Wolves, a team winning at all costs against team Freno Bournemouth. I think this will be a good game. We will see a lot of goals because anytime there are 2 teams we share, there are a lot of goals coming in it. So become MYBET.AFRICA 1.5 over 2.5 a likeliest option a bit me buy in this game because of Wolves goals or more share and also Bournemouth so goals or more almost share and also in their recent games they've conceded in every game on my ball and they've conceded 2 or more goals in any game on my ball, especially in their home games there they've conceded 2 goals in every game till their last penalty win on Munya against Wolves that is the FA Cup into any goals there be flow game me pa say Bournemouth person more revive your season and qualify for Europe send them make keep some of their loan players meaning this is a crucial game for them but say one of these teams are to win. I'm tipping Fulham win or draw in this game. Share Napoli game on Super Bowl against Empoli. I think it's a big game for Napoli, especially with the Scudetto getting to the latter end. And then 12 points gap between only Inter Milan and 6. So winning this game is very crucial for them. So winning meaning to closing it to just 3. Then Pai say Champions League for Inter Milan would also be a thing for them, and they need to try and we add all those 2 games and perform well. We share this game average at least 1.4 goals per game. Meaning say Napoli anytime you have ball against Empoli at least a goal your multi share into any performance wise Empoli performance in their last 5 won team picky win here. But the only thing on my idea is say if you are going on a losing runner, they are not conceding more than 2 goals. But the last time we conceded more than 2 goals against Bologna, I named the performance almost Adanidi. And they Napoli bear margin so make it that home record of Mugusu Kitano, making sure say they are not going to lose any game and make sure say their home record is safer and win games against these clubs. And this game make for a Napoli win or draw and 1.5. One option I think especially both teams performance in this year, especially Empoli. But Napoli bear margin say obeshe a goal or 2 to make sure say they get that 3 points and also put that pressure on Inter Milan going forward. Atletico Madrid almost game on Bueno. Even though say the title race in the Spanish Liga no match on more films Sisiano. Can't or more pre title no one count because of the points gap Barcelona triumph. Say about 10 points between on Barcelona and they also team close gap.
Sakan some can
do baby no more pre title no so any 10 points gap the more pan. The game against Valladolid a big game for we friends Atletico Madrid, especially Atletico Madrid Bowman days and no outside that Saturday Sunday games and performance also. So this will be one game Atletico Madrid average at least 2.4 goal margin anytime Beyond Vado lead in their last 15 head-to-head to Michia. And over 2.5, over 1.5 is likely to play. Atletico Madrid is a must-win for them, especially so one person with me ended the season well after a disappointing run on Macqua. This is one thing that they need to give their fans, and the Atletico Madrid can win and also score 2 or more goals ever in a game. No?
All right. Yeah.
It's to I'm sure that big game. I'm out for Bernardo and also Napoli Empoli game. It's a gamer. When you say Inter Milan fans, it's going to be a delight to watch. Well, it's a Monday night. It's going to be a very difficult game for Napoli. Meaning say they are not going to underrate Empoli because we check Empoli last 2 games and then last visit to Roma, especially last 3 games, Wakako picking 2 wins, and this is the team. Last 3 games against Napoli or Napoli home are picking 2 wins in their last 3 games on my board, and it's going to be an interesting game. We check the league logger. List over here, Empoli down. They are fighting relegation, and if they are able to get a point, probably they will still be in the relegation battle. By winning against Napoli, and will give them 27 points. On free relegation zone, MYBET 17, just 1 point behind Palma. And I got 6 games to go. Or more games are probably playing Napoli today. That'll be a very big game for them. But after in the game, they are going to play against Venezia. So you've been getting a point against Napoli. Ubabe 1 point behind Lecce. Oh no, 26 points or that 17th position. Then they will go and play Empoli, Bologna. That is a no-go area. Bologna this season, they are doing very well. Home, home. They will play Empoli. Then from there, Omeko, Fiorentina, Ombesambo, Lazio, Parma, Monza, and Verona in that order. Verona so baby order no and Sheda and very good. But list all Napoli for no currently Omo Inter for no 6 points. And if they are able to win a year, it means that Ebesa can another 3 pointer also bet him their closest gap. And when you can catch us say Inter Milan games are canon. Or they compare Timanidi Ede Napoli gamer. Inter ever a lot of big games. Because Inter is going to play the inform AS Roma. They are going to play Bologna away. Ombebo Lazio. No more Como. So these are few interesting games are it's going to be very hard for Napoli. But Napoli on the other hand, if you want to win the league, we checking the games aka Empoli. We are the influence. Ombebo Monza, Torino, Lecce, Genoa, Parma, and Cagliari. Relegation threatening teams and a non-variable. So if they are not able to score Empoli today after knowing say Inter Ashe actually 6 points, they have to win and close the gap again. Because in fact, this all who check the last 9 games are Napoli about draw SN team via the European top 5 leagues. Their last 9 games both draw on 6, and there's something that affects you more. In the last 9 games, draw 6 on Bolisto. How many Roma ball draw? How many Udinese ball draw? How many Lazio ball draw? 3 consecutive stalemates. And they lost to Como. And how many Inter? And Sansuko ball draw. And how many Venezia about draw and Bologna. It's that game. Catch was a bad. So make my pick the 3 maximum points against Bologna because this is home. They so home. Into the last 9 games. For Napoli, I'm about drawn 6. That is the most for any club in the European top 5 leagues. In the net against Empoli, meaning say they are not going to underrate Empoli team no, because last 3 games Empoli caught a year Diego Armando Maradona Stadium. 3 games Okako pick a win there, and you see, Omo defense in this season, Omo conceded a lot of goals. For Napoli team, they are conceding a lot of goals. Into what check your last 5 games at least all the only clean sheet they kept almost 0-0 draw or money Venezia a coco boy a qua way back echo the last time, apart from Venezia game, the last time they also kept a clean sheet was somewhere January, 12th January or Money Verona. But since then, games in our list or consider goal. And then if Empoli should go, I won't be surprised. Empoli to score highly possible because of the defensive difficulties Napoli are facing. But I think that it should be a must win for Napoli, and I see them winning. And now let's come out Omone Valladolid and a Babebo. And the league, so on Major League, list all. I have very hard for Timanidin a Atletico Madrid, but won't me write off just 10 points between them and Barcelona. But if they're able to win today, it means that a 7 points between them. And then they Atletico Madrid, the trophies are not coaching this season. So what they have to do is close the gap between Real Madrid. And the Madrid, it was 66 points. If Atletico Madrid are able to win this game, it means that a 6 points, 3 points behind a Timanidin and Atletico Madrid. And then what share? Another rival, Atletico Bilbao. List all. Also 57 points. If Onunya and Atletico Lusu, now in Bilbao another winner, they are coming at par with Timanidin and Atletico Madrid. 60 points. And I shall crampa na AB Atletico Madrid crampono. Villarreal, it will be very hard for them to catch up. Then they will just secure the fourth position. And this season, how Atletico Bobono, now people believe that it's going to be one of their best ever seasons under Oren and Diego Simeone. So I think that this game, maybe a Valladolid down, or that 10 points when you have 40 points and there's no way of relegation. I think that Atletico Madrid is going to score. In fact, Ochake Atiko or Valladolid, whenever they meet, Ayana goes at IPM. In fact, list of almost last 2 games between Atletico Madrid and Valladolid, 12 goals in our bubble. 12 goals. Bako Atiko winning 5-0, and the last one Atiko so winning 5-2. So anytime you are behind list of goals, but in fact, almost last 5 games date from counting back from 2020. Any game you are behind resulting over 2.5. Just one game, and on boy me and resulting in 3 goals, 2 goals and a bomb. So in this game, list all I see over 2.5 goals in this game. Maybe Atletico Madrid, they might not concede a goal because some games some money Valladolid the especially in their last 5 or more concede just 2 games and concede a goal. So I think that Atletico is going to win this game and a very, very difficult amount. Bournemouth Fulham, a game both teams will be able to win. In fact, Bournemouth, they are struggling almost through the peak season pattern. Almost so they are finding it very difficult to win games. Into a check here, the last time winning a game, echo way back in February. Since then, winning a game. Any amount board drum lusu. Into a check it, last 7 games and last 8 games list all. Ningina, amount board draw 3 and lusu the other games. Ningina. It's going to be very difficult for them, especially playing against Fulham. Also having on and off season. But I think that will go in for a double chance for Bournemouth and both teams to score over 1.5 goals. So highly possible with this game list all.
Right, it's for us in the run affair.
Okay, and then no Napoli any Empoli game. Napoli win and 1.5 Atletico Madrid any Valladolid. Atletico Madrid win and 1.5 and a Bournemouth any Fulham over 2.5. Code no PZLY MYBET.AFRICA.
Yeah,
me us for the day no. Bournemouth any Fulham game no. A double chance for Bournemouth and over 1.5 goals in that game. And no the belt builder option. Coventry and so a win or draw for Coventry in the championship. And Timanidin a Napoli Empoli game, a straight win for Napoli and Atiko. So straight win for Atletico Madrid against Real Valladolid. Code no RZLY.
okay, median Hapua Besheva and Hapua Besheva and Beta Jerusalem Hapua Besheva home in or draw. Okay, mediano Hapoel Beersheva oko Israel omone Better Jerusalem home win or draw and Ludogorets ebo match ne over 1.5 oko Tekia Ayon Sport ene Adana Demisport ebo Ayon Sport home win ni nyina na so ye no early payout. Club Brugge and Rapid Bucharest. Club Brugge home win or draw. Maccabi Tel Aviv and Maccabi Haifa nebo. Maccabi Tel Aviv home win or draw. Napoli ne Empoli. Napoli home win. Hull City and Coventry City enable over 1.5. And Atletico Madrid and Valladolid. Atletico Madrid to score 2 goals. Bournemouth and Fulham over 1.5. And CA National Potosi. Oko Bolivia. CA National Potosi home win. Timesabu bosu wim. CA National Potosi home win. Bournemouth and Fulham over 1.5. Atletico Madrid and Valladolid. Atletico Madrid to score 2. Hull City any Coventry City over 1.5. Napoli ne Empoli. Napoli home win. Maccabi Tel Aviv any Maccabi Haifa. Maccabi Tel Aviv home win or draw. CFR Cluj any Rapid Bucharest. CFR Cluj home win or draw. Ayon Sport any Adana Demisport. Ayon Sport for no ebo home win. Ludogorets and FK Heba enable over 1.5. Hapoel Beersheva and Better Jerusalem enable. Hapoel Beersheva home win or draw. Inti we meso me us. Na Shannon say the be group nim. Channel no. Telegram channel no. Telegram channel no sports arena one ye di codes ni na be dey begu na mo videos ni de ye betwa na ye ato TikTok so ene ye de beto X, that is Twitter na afi bibia so no atumi ayeden akoye ochina nyame adoma Champions League ochina Champions League enyasem ketwa me se me ovim se omo lusu ye ne ba ko be comeback into ochina no Aston Villa betin fi no ni Paris Saint-Germain abo na Dortmund ene Barcelona ayeden abo Dortmund ebetina Signal Iduna Park no ni Barcelona abo Barcelona guom 4 ti we bibie no ebesa PSG ene Aston Villa betina Villa Park no ni Paris Saint-Germain etumi akobo enyasem keto akra honum iti eno ene game na me de etudwa ede amount saso ena Wednesday ene cracker na Wednesday friendly outstanding game back on Newcastle ene Crystal Palace ede bebo ni honum nti shenenso Inter Milan ene Bayern Munich Real Madrid ene Arsenal enyasem keto akra yenyina ede ho live commentary ebe bro na we hu de ekone de eba this way e ko Madina on e ko Madina my bet shop na o Madina no na ye de bibia tumi e de aba oti Vincent Kasa so na oti Benedict nka ene asaka the streamer also challenge Pele Nigeria ni no saka so person challenge ni they say saka be start streaming things na mo hu na activities na afi bibia tumi akoye nyame ya adum na adum ya